Okay, I understand it now. I understand it now. I'm not playing with y'all. I'm not playing with y'all. Stay locked in.
I can't sleep, text on X, I can't geek.
Enten'S.
Mandy, I can't sleep, text on X, I can't geek. Mandy, I can't sleep, text on X, I can't geek. Mandy, I can't sleep, text on X,
Previous on Ninjago.
We definitely locked in for next week. We definitely locked in for next week. We definitely locked in for next week. Hey y'all, I genuinely don't know what to tell y'all. I honestly wasn't expecting to take a whole month off. That first week off, I was dipping and dodging Shueisha because they was nuking any and everybody posting Kagurabachi. That second week, I just got some crazy burnout and fell behind schedule, so I was like, I'll catch y'all up next week. Little did I know. Then the next following weeks, I took a crazy hit in my personal life, so I was like, hey man, I might as well just call it quits and take my break now. So that's what I did. So life basically gave me one continuous ass whooping. But yeah, we back like we never left. Now I usually don't do these calls to action, but I would greatly appreciate anyone who left a like on the video and left a comment to let me know that I'm not just sitting up here yapping out to the void. But enough of my yapping as it is, let's hop into the video. We start this chapter off with a flashback that takes place right after Samura one-tapped Chihiro and just before he linked up with the Masumi. Chihiro drops the word malediction, so this is clearly the moment Shiba told him about it. And I'm sick, dog. This man Shiba had an on-screen conversation on screen. Shiba could probably give Sukuna a run for his money. Quick, dig the crack name of Shiba moment that actually happens on screen.
Can I see you as my crush?
Just slide it in, gang. Whoa, I just came back. I gotta chill out. Shiba says Kunoshige never talked about the malediction, but it wasn't because he was trying to hide it. It was just too much to drop on the kid. Chihiro then flashes back to the moment Kunoshige told him, we'll learn to do this together. He also remembers Kunoshige saying they'd be responsible for any death their swords might cause. Shiba says that's why Kunoshige sealed away the enchanted blades. He also says that without the enchanted blades, the people of Japan would have been massacred. But even so, Kunoshige still carried crazy guilt. Chihiro then asks why his father gave him Enten, and then boom, they name dropped the chapter. You already know we about to learn something crazy about this blade. Hokazono wouldn't name a chapter after a sword unless he's about to drop lore like a nuke, so strap in. We cut to the present as Chihiro and Samura clash midair. Samura blade got some serious kickback to it as it sends Chihiro falling through the air. We got Chihiro saying how crazy strong Samura is, and if he tried to counter instead of blocking, he would have got his arm cut clean off. That one block got his arm shaking like that one dude at the function that's like, where the hoes at? And when they finally show up, he's shaking his boots and don't know what to say. Chihiro lands on a rooftop and Samura lands across from him. Chihiro knows that there's a saying from the Seitei War, where the black birds flock, death is nigh. My question is, who said that? Whoever said that was in their bag. They just gave Samura a hell of a oral lob. Anyways, Samura then references back to when Chihiro said he'd show him. He asks him what does he possibly want to show him. Chihiro says there's a possible way to prevent the malediction without sacrificing any lives. Samura over here doubted him. He has no faith in what Chihiro is saying. Chihiro then says the plan is to destroy the Shinichi. Then it cuts to black for a sec, saying that the Shinichi is the source of all the eternal contracts. And if the Shinichi is destroyed, then the contracts will become null or lose their value. That way, no one has to die. Samura hits him with the, if only it was that simple. Turns out, after the war, they tried to destroy it, but couldn't even land a scratch. Samura says he heard about Chihiro breaking the Cloud Gouger and says sword fighting is similar to physical augmentation. The blade's power and strength varies depending on the user's skill and spirit energy. He says whoever was wielding Cloud Gouger must have been some puny thug for it to break. Man really clowned Sojo and basically said that that was simply a skill issue. I know Sojo rolling in his grave as we speak. He basically tells Chihiro to be serious because they're up against a man literally called the Sword Master. He then says that him and the Sword Master have to die and no one else. Just then, Chihiro locks in, sensing that Samura is about to strike. Chihiro gives us the rundown of Crow, basically retelling us that it allows Samura to swap with any of the black feathers in the air. He doesn't know why, but thinks maybe it's because of him learning how to be an actual swordsman in this past arc. But now more than ever, the sword feels deeply ingrained in his hand. He's becoming one with the sword before our very eyes. Little guy is all growing up. I'm proud of him. Samura then teleports behind Chihiro going for the jab, but Chihiro peeks it and goes for a counter swing. Samura teleports again and got bro out here looking lost. Somebody get this guy a map. As Samura goes for the strike, Chihiro using Nishiki to get out the way and up Sakuro. Of course, Samura being the Sneak Nation president is already behind Chihiro going for the stab, but Chihiro's keeping up and blocks it. Then, this man Samura basically starts flash stepping around Chihiro, teleporting to all the feathers and going for quick stabs. Chihiro says that even with Nishiki, he can barely evade him. But then, he hits us with the
I understand it now.
noting that before Samura swaps places, there's a trace of spirit energy left behind. Chihiro peeps a feather and goes for the swing, but Samura being big brain swaps his sword instead of his body and got Chihiro out here looking shook. Samura praises Chihiro for finally being able to read his movements as he clutches onto a feather and turns it back into his blade. He says he's been also reading Chihiro's movement and then swings. Of course, Chihiro ain't going out like that and he blocks it, making them clash on the rooftop. Samura ups his sword, causing Chihiro's blade to fly out his hand. Then, he uses his nasty sandals and kicks Chihiro off the roof. The kick sent Chihiro flying straight into the pond, giving the fit a much needed wash. All that fighting and sweating he been doing in that suit, I just know it reached a death incarnate. We see Enten'S land on the roof beside Samura as Samura's hands start shaking. As Chihiro's taking a much needed bath, we hear Shiba's words. When Kunoshige Rokuhira forged the enchanted blades, he didn't craft their power specifically, only their intended purpose, to kill or to protect. The original 6 blades were instruments of war with the sole purpose of defeating the enemy. Chihiro then remembers him and his pops forging the sword, causing him to rise out the water like the Undertaker. Shiba in the flashback says that the 7th sword, the Enten'S, is different. It was the only time in his Hall of Fame career that Kunoshige ever teamed up with anyone to make a sword. That's when we learned that Chihiro helped make the Enten'S. Chihiro says all he did was follow his dad's instructions. Then we get a flashback to the first chapter, seeing them forge Enten'S. I'm not gonna lie, having them forge the Enten'S in the first chapter is kinda crazy. Shiba says right after the war, Kunoshige attempted to destroy the enchanted blades, but because of his source material, the Datenseki, he was unable to destroy any of them. After that, for 15 years, Kunoshige struggled in the darkness with the knowledge that he created the enchanted blades and was inadvertently responsible for the malediction. All along, Chihiro was his guiding light, illuminating a path forward, and Enten'S was that path. And look at Chihiro's face in this panel. It's the most innocent he's ever looked in this entire manga. Man, Chihiro and Kunoshige had such a wholesome relationship. I'll never forgive the Ashako for taking that away. Never! But anyway, Shiba brings up the time Chihiro used Enten'S to destroy the Cloud Gouger. Shiba says Sojo wasn't a swordsman, he wasn't proficient with the blade like the past wielder, but even so, he was a strong fighter. The strongest person in the verse throwing Sojo a bone. I know his deranged fans out there happy for the mention. Shiba says it was Sojo's failure, but Chihiro's success, saying he was able to correct the course of the katana which had been compromised from his true intent. Alright, hold on. This line had a lot of people in the fandom worried. Shiba says it was Sojo's failure but Chihiro's success, and that Chihiro was able to correct the course of the katana which had been compromised from his true intent. Some people felt like that low-key broke the message from earlier in the story. Back in the Sojo arc, Hokazono was showing us that these enchanted blades don't have built-in morality. They're powerful tools and it depends solely on the person using them. So some people started thinking, wait, is Hokazono saying that the blades were always meant to be used for good? Like there's some predetermined course where they're only righteous weapons? But nah, I don't think that's what's happening here. What Shiba's saying isn't about the blades being born to be good. It's about intended design, not cosmic destiny. Kunoshige forged the blades with the purpose to protect, to defend, and maybe to kill. I don't know why I said maybe. Definitely to kill in order to save Japan during the Seitei War. But the actual morality behind that still lies with the wielder. Chihiro correcting the course just means he's aligning his actions with the original intent behind the blade's creation. Not that the swords can't be used for evil. That's why Sojo was a failure. Not because the Blades rejected him. In fact, Cloud Gouger literally resonated with him, but because he rejected what it was originally meant to represent. And for Chihiro, Chihiro is a success because he made a conscious choice to honor that purpose, to vanquish evil and protect the weak, like he told Sojo during their first encounter. Nah, the blades aren't locked into some holy weapon path. It's the same rule. The blade only goes where the wielder takes it. And to be clear, this isn't saying Hokazono or the narrative, it's just straight up saying Sojo was wrong. Remember, Chihiro literally grew from that fight. He admitted that the enchanted blades do have the potential to harm people, and he let go of blindly defending his dad's legacy. So this scene isn't rewriting or backtracking on the message, it's reinforcing it. The sword can go anywhere, but it's still up to the one holding it to decide that direction. But damn! We cut back to Samura staring down Chihiro, and Chihiro staring Samura down too. He's standing there as Shiba's words ring in his mind. To face the past and connect the future. Perhaps that was the purpose rokuhira infused into the Enten. That pretty much solidifies the theory that's been going around in the community for a minute now, that Kunishige made the Enten'S to counter the other 6 enchanted blades. On that day against Sojo, Chihiro was able to draw out that power. He then thinks about the Sword Master and Samura. Just then, we see a little black Kuro swimming over to Chihiro's hand. He remembers his father saying that they need to have principles and accountability. We cut back to the hospital where Chihiro asks about Enten'S true realm, and Shiba's like, yeah. The little Kuro swimming up to Chihiro's hand turns into his sword, mimicking Samura and his feathers. As he says, with the Enten, he'll destroy the Shinichi, and that's where the chapter ends. My final thoughts, this chapter was straight pressure. The hands that Chihiro and Samura threw this chapter was straight up elite. Both of them reading each other, adapting mid-fight, teleporting, feinting, pulling out new tricks. This whole fight felt like it was a chess match with blades. I swear, Hokazono has crack in his pen. We'll see what crazy stuff happens next chapter though. Until then, love y'all boys. God bless. Stay smooth y'all.